Right here.
So, Joe, for the listeners that can't visualize what's going on here, what am I holding in my hand?
Right now, you're holding a Ralph Lauren whiskey glass that I acquired. But inside of that,
Which is what I was really curious
yeah,
about.
it's called an Irish lemonade. That's the drink of today's episode, guys. It's an Irish lemonade. So it's Irish whiskey, some lemonade, as you would expect. And then it's topped off with some club soda. So
Will you leave the ingredients in the show notes?
I can absolutely do that. So that way everyone can join us in with this drink. So before you guys get started, if you have gotten to this point, pause, make your drink, and then hit play and continue to listen in.
That's a fantastic idea,
You like
Joe.
that, right?
You got ideas, huh? Don't you? Just
Once in a while, bro, 500 IQ.
500 IQ. Okay, well, how does 500 IQ work in the DMs?
Whoa,
My
whoa,
bad,
bro, how you gonna come in here that hot?
All right. So I had this one girl. I met her on the streets.
In Paris, and then you guys got married.
Yeah, I had a 500 IQ.
You had the biggest IQ right there.
Come on,
See,
son,
my
the
my
vibes.
IQ is a little different. My IQ is more single, horny, and yeah.
Whoa. I was trying to talk about numbers and chemistry. You're out here talking about anatomy and physiology.
Yep.
What's good with you?
I'm a biologist.
Oh,
Yep.
makes sense.
Exactly right. Man, the DMs, the DMs are interesting. The DMs are interesting, right? Because
Especially your target is...
it's a higher target than what I would be considered at in a social level, right? Now,
But I'd love to actually full break for a second
Sure.
and talk
Yeah,
about that
100%.
because for me, I remember way back before we would hang out, right? And I was writing a little more solo, and that was kind of the thought process that I'd have. I'm like, ooh, even these girls in like class to me was like that's a little above.
a little, yeah,
Yeah.
bro. It's a weird concept that I think humans apply upon themselves, and not only sometimes themselves, but others apply it as well. Of course, it's like that social level, social class, and especially in today's world where it's so clear. It's not like before in high school. It was like, oh, this guy got a couple of friends, this girl got a couple of friends, so they're in the same social class. This person is really popular. Now it's like, hey, bro, what's your impressions? What's your interactions? What's your engagement rates? How many followers do you have? What's your, they can see all of that, bro.
But do you think they care?
Well, that's a great question. And I'm going to get to the bottom of that. Guys, I have a YouTube video coming out on the channel for us. And you'll see that I find all the answers that you guys want to know. This is for men, women, grandmas, grandchildren. Listen in and check it out and take notes.
A lot of life being lived by that grandma.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, grandma's got to get theirs too. But right now, in the moment, my DMs, and I've talked about this before. You know me, I'm an old school kind of guy. I'd rather not meet people online. I've always felt really weird about it because I'm very much a physical person. I love to, I don't know. It's just always been my thing. Like even with like you guys and like all my friends, when like, if I really care about you, I've probably hit you a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just like my way of showing affection.
You're abusive.
All right, well, we didn't have to say all that. But so online has always been weird to me just because, you start to picture someone to sound like this or to laugh like that from texting and all that. And then you meet them and their energy could be completely different than you imagined it.
That's the weirdest thing is to already have formed an opinion before you even meet somebody.
Before you meet someone, yeah. Exactly. So that's why I prefer not to. I'd rather just meet them in person. But obviously in 2020, the circumstances have changed, but I'm still single. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still out here trying to do my thing. But
trying to have fun?
I'm always trying to have fun. But
until you're not having
I'm
fun.
leveling up. To who he's addressing in that statement
is you. That's all I'm addressing.
Yeah, but
do we have to cut this out the video and the podcast?
We don't have to cut it out
because
she knows who she is.
I was addressing you.
I know, but that's what I always told her.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Hey, it's fun. It's all fun and games until it's no longer fun and games.
Hey, man, but she has her place, though. She has her place in your history, and it's very beautiful.
In my heart.
That's true.
In my heart.
She can't forget that.
That's right. But now I'm on a different page. Oh man, cheers to her.
You gotta cheers.
Cheers to her. Huh? Cheers to her. But no, now I'm trying to. I'm trying to level up. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to level up the girls in my life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to find women who are out here doing bigger things than I was used to seeing girls from our back, like, you know, our hometown doing and stuff like that.
You want someone with good credit.
I want someone with good credit. I want someone with a good head on their shoulders, you know? So, and I know it sounds kind of silly the way that people look at these girls nowadays, but I slid in the DMs of a couple of IG models, right?
Let's talk about it.
But one in particular who's really got my attention because she's been playing fucking games with me, dog. You know what I'm saying?
You guys already started conversating.
We had a little conversation. You know what I'm saying? I commented on her picture, and it got no love. Right? She didn't like the comment, nothing. She has quite a bit of followers. She has like 160K followers, which is way beyond what I have on the Instagram for now. Give us a follow. And then so I commented on her picture, whatever, nothing. But then I see that she views my story. So like, oh shit, okay.
Did you just say she abuses your story?
She can abuse whatever she wants, but she viewed my story.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, hold on. So I clearly got her attention. I was like, so let me DM her. So I DM her. I'm like, all right, boom, boom. And then, you know, nothing. I was like, all right, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah,
man, she got 160 fucking K followers. What do I give a shit, you know? And then I see that she follows me, views both of my new stories. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, okay. This is interesting now. You know what I'm saying? And then she answered back.
And what'd she say? No, we don't have to.
We don't have to get into the details.
I was really
you want the tea. My boy wants the tea. Said, what'd she say? All right. So and what'd you tell her that worked so well?
Afterwards, man, you know, you just reminded me of a scenario where I think it was a TV show where it was like, long story short, it's like the uncle and then like the nephew that's like in school, whatever it is, and then it might have been Will Smith with man, I'm gonna get down to this. You know how bad I am with these references.
Yeah, because I'm not understanding a fucking thing. So
the concept is very, very simple. It's the nephew and the uncle, and the nephew kind of walks up. He's like, man, you know, she's everything to me. Like, uncle, what do I do? And he's just like, hit her with a hello. He's like, that's it, and then walk away.
It probably had to be Fresh Prince.
Probably.
Even though Will Smith got hella game.
No, so I feel like it's someone like him because I feel like he would be the one giving the advice. Mm-hmm. But dude walks up, says hello, does his thing, is on his way, and then she's kind of like, who? Like, first of all, who in the world does that? Who's like, oh hey, and then
just walks away.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start hitting girls with that.
I mean, we had a friend, you know who I'm talking about, in high school. When we're in the right out of Miss Sharp's class, when we're just
man, right out of just intro to biology class, you know what I'm saying?
And then as she walked by, and then that's it. And then he literally turned right back
and just keep moving on. Yeah, it worked though.
But the funniest thing though, so he does this a couple times where he has like one-liner conversations with her, and then it gets to the point where he has to do something about it. He has to ask her out. I don't know if it was like to prom or like on a date or whatever. So it's funny because he's always to that point just used his uncle's like clean lines, so he's never really had to think through with it. And then at one point she asked him a question, and he's like,
couldn't answer.
Turns around, walks away. He's like, oh, what do I say? But uncle's like, what? You went, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, come on, man, like, talk to her.
Facts. Yeah,
this is the thing that you kind of been waiting for.
Yeah, the whole time. But back to just perception, right? It's like, he obviously has conversations with other women in his life, and for those of you out there that do find someone that you think is attractive and whatnot, you definitely should still try, because
for sure,
you never know.
You never know, man. And even that, like, even if you just have a platonic relationship, you know, there's always something. Cool, there's always something that you can gain from one another, whether it's experience, stories, or deep, passionate love.
One thing I want to get across the board is she's a person at the end of the day.
Facts.
Just like you, and she has mom and dad, hopefully so, and then she has family and things like this.
We'd assume that she has a family that cares about her, and she cares about them.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, she's a person that talks just like you do, and who knows what happens if you stop and say hello, and if she doesn't give you the time of day, that's her choice. That
is their choice, and you know what? Hey, fellas, just keep it moving. Especially the fellas, I know sometimes I've seen it on the streets before. You know, they didn't get the reaction that they wanted from a woman, and they turn it very, very ugly very fast, and that's not cool. You know, you never want to man, woman, doesn't matter. You don't ever want to leave that bad taste in someone's mouth of who you are as a man, as a woman. You know, be a respectable person, and you'll get respect back. That's for sure.
Yeah, I laugh internally just from certain scenarios that I know from my friend's point of view, from the woman's point of view. But it's just like, come on, you know, like why?
The things, man, the things that some of our homegirls told us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
you're really shook out here. You're
yeah,
like,
man. Like,
that really happens?
this is like the things that scare me about, because I've talked about this before. I can't wait to have a daughter. I love kids. I can't wait to be a father, but in particular, like, I want a little girl. I don't want my little girl having to deal with creeps like that, you know? So
it's funny because we watched Molly's game last night. Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, I mean, it's
fantastic movie.
Excellent.
That was a great choice, man. Thank you for putting me on.
But she essentially runs like one of the biggest poker games in the world, just within like 4 seasons and stuff like that, just private ones with some of the biggest, you name it, actors and lawyers and Wall Street and everything, stockbrokers, whatever. But yeah, her dad comes into the picture late into the movie, and man's like, you know, he's like ballistic over what had happened to her. You know?
Yeah, and her experiences, you know, running this semi-legal poker game that got her deep into mafias and different, you know, organizations that generally people try to avoid. You know,
and I really aligned with that. I'm like, you know, if that was my girl or just my wife or my mom, you know, anybody, it's like
anyone in my life, man. I don't know what I would do. You know, that's a really tough thing. But
you might have to flip a table.
You know, I love flipping a table. Why? Because something about it being upright just ain't right.
It doesn't look right.
Doesn't look right like that.
It looks right.
Gotta flip it.
Especially if there's a lot of things on it.
Man, you remember that time at your...
I was just going to mention it because you were the one.
I was the one, bro. I was the
one. There was at least like...
we had a whole...
Luis's birthday.
We had a whole beer pong table set up.
Yeah, we had a whole... And it was mid... No, it wasn't mid-game, but the table was still set up.
The table...
Cups were still there.
Looked like what a beer pong game would look like after it's done. And,
plus,
you know...
all your best friends sitting at the table too.
Yeah.
With their own drinks. And... you legit just... I'll never forget because it was like the widest palm I've ever seen you have, and just scooped it all.
I swept the whole table
Yeah.
clean. But I'll tell you the only reason why I did that was because it was Louis V's birthday, and Jose was in your spare bedroom downstairs, and he was lit. And
un descarado.
yeah, facts. And I was like, Luis, I was like, come on, man, Louis V, what do you want for your birthday, bro? He was like, honestly,
this was super random for me, by the way.
Yeah.
I never expected it.
And Louis V was hammered. He was like, honestly, all I want is I want us to all be sitting around this table, and I want Jose just sleeping right here on the table, passed out.
And we always knew that he was sleeping too.
He was always sleeping.
Yeah.
And this time he was definitely sleeping because he was drunk.
Yeah.
You know. So what did we do? Well, we picked him up. And we brought him to the table, and you know,
As he was passed out.
I saw a problem, and I figured out a solution. The problem was
all of us picked him up.
Well, that was easy. That was the easy part. The problem was at the table. The table was cluttered, filled with things. So I gave you the solution. Swept it clean.
It's funny, right?
One palm.
My mind, obviously, in that state, isn't as quick-witted as I maybe could be. And half of me is saying, that's genius, you know? Like, now we can finally put them on the table. And the other half of me is like, yo, like, we got to clean up everything that's
all
on the
this
floor
water,
now.
beer, everything on the floor.
Everything. And, but at that moment, I think everyone ran with it and nobody questioned it. So we went to the room, picked up Jose, put him on, and I think it collapsed immediately.
No, the table didn't collapse. No, the
table collapsed.
No, it did not. Not immediately. It wasn't until he tried to get off the table because he started to wake up,
and he was shook.
And he was like, "Not, yeah, he was not cooperating with the table."
For anybody that's not there, like, just imagine like a bunch of dudes, like all your
and we were younger, right? We probably shouldn't have been drinking. No one knew that we were drinking or were we 21 yet? No, I don't think we were. I think we were probably like 20.
So Jose was on the table, and it was just funny because imagine like a bunch of dudes just surrounded around him,
Sitting
and
around
then
the table
he's like up,
that
and
he's just
like,
sleeping on.
you know, all my buddies to my left and right. He's like, what in the world? is going on?
Imagine, Jose, please just lay down. We're getting the goat right now
And that's
to do the
legit.
sacrifice.
That's kind of what we were doing, though. I mean,
That's not even, hold on. That is not even close to what we were doing. Pause.
But what I was saying is that we were like, yo, chill, like just chill.
Just chill out, bro. Yeah.
And then
come
of
on.
course he's like, no, let me get up. And then I think at least two of us just were like, put our hands.
We just held him there.
Yeah.
We were like, hey, Louis V wants you sleeping on the table
So
while
you
we
better
just
go
have a
back to
casual conversation. So go back the fuck to bed. Happy birthday, Louis V. You know what I'm saying? And that's that.
Yeah.
Cheers.
And yeah, that. And then the table collapsed because he had to.
He was moving around too much. Fucking asshole. How dare you try to wake up off the table that we put you on, scumbag. But no, back to the original question that you had asked me. And about sliding in the DMs. And I think this is important for most people to know. And you touched on it. Just say hello. Just say something, right? At the end of the day,
Be there.
you got to shoot your shot. You know what I'm saying? If you don't shoot that shot, you will always miss because you never took it. You know what I'm saying? And I've done this, and this goes with a lot of things because, you know, I've shot my shot back home with plenty of girls. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not what I prefer to do, but I know if that I'm not going to run into them at this bar or at this restaurant or whatever, then fuck it. I'm going to just slide in the DMs.
I'm so
And it's worked.
much less courageous than you are. I wouldn't even think I'd. Yeah, I don't know. Usually the person that I'm actually around with and like taking out and stuff was someone that I met like in person and already kind of had formed some kind of connection.
Relationship with.
Yeah.
And I prefer that. But, you know, man, like I said, you know, I get bored very quickly, which is one of my like toxic ass traits. I get bored very quickly of people, you know, so I don't. And one thing that I'm very like good with though is never taking advantage of someone else's emotions towards me. You know what I'm saying? If I don't reciprocate that same. So like if I know a girl's like really into me, but I'm not feeling it, like I'm not going to take her to bed, lead her on, things like that. You know, I'll just end it early and move on. That's why I so happen to have to slide into more DMs because, well, one, I'm single, you're married. And two, because are
you blaming
my attention to like people is not as long lasting as it should be.
Are you blaming your celibacy on me?
No, man. I'm just trying to say that I want to replicate
what I have.
Well, you have a long,
and that takes years.
A beautiful marriage. You know,
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It looks like a lot of work, and I ain't ready for it. So for all the Tatianas on the streets, slide in my DMs because Joe Jerez is still here. He's still activo. On that note, though,
I was gonna say my follow up to that, which is you know the next step from what I've heard, right? My grandpa Zapata talking right now. The next step from what I heard is Tinder in that respect.
Your grandpa was telling you about Tinder.
I said Grandpa Zapata. I don't have. Oh, actually, he does.
You would have a Grandpa Zapata.
My point is,
your papito,
me, grandpa.
Oh, you being a grandpa.
Yes.
Talking. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Grandpa Christian Zapata.
That is a terrible old man voice, but I'll let it slide.
I can do it so much better.
Do it so much better.
Pues la cosa es que estamos aquí en el país y escuché que el Tinder está el nuevo cosa.
Hey, Papito Zapata.
Yeah, I'm Pito or something like that.
Yeah, you're an old man. That's an old man sound right there. That was better.
El Don. But no, so talking about what we're so accustomed to thinking about, which is being on the move, traveling and whatnot and stuff like that. And also, you know, my kind of software experience and stuff like this. I saw, I think it was either the CEO or the CTO of Tinder talk about this like passport feature. And I wanted to ask you, who may possibly be a user of something like this, kind of just your experience around Le Passport.
Le Passport.
Yeah.
So it's actually kind of interesting, man. So I've never used the passport feature myself, right? But I have met people who've been using it here in LA, and it's actually really cool. So, you know, they can be anywhere in the world and they can choose and pinpoint a location that they want to start meeting people in. instead of it just strictly being in their current location and whatever mile radius that they choose. So I've actually made some really cool friends out in Finland, Norway, Germany, France, and even China, which is
because
really interesting.
you've been targeted by the passport.
Yeah, so they set their location into, into Los Angeles, and then we so happen to hit that radius, and we
is
both
that a
swipe on each
paid
other.
feature that?
I think so. I think that they pay total like $20 a month but they also not only get the option to do that, they get a bunch of other things and perks with that. I mean, Tinder's interesting. I don't know how much I'd be willing to pay for Tinder, but I do think it's a really great feature to just chat with people and meet people. Like I said, I've made some friends out in Germany and stuff like that. And now we follow each other and we communicate with each other through Instagram. So, they're really kind, and they always tell me like, hey, if you're ever, in Germany, or if you're ever in Finland or Wales, like I'd love to show you around. And that's awesome. And I show them that same kind of energy if they came here, take them to see a cool art museum, whatever's happening in the time.
And have you had in the past, because I know this kind of my experience with having friends like Jared out in Texas,
mm-hmm.
and Andy and Pat out here, but
for sure, yeah.
Have you had in the past a connection that you kind of knew just outside of like Rhode Island that you might have kind of hit up and say, hey, I'm in town?
I mean, yeah. So yes. The short answer is yes. There's two scenarios. One where I was traveling in Florida and I was able to hit up a friend that I have known who's lived out there for a long time when we were kids. We met when I was like in second or third grade, and we actually stayed as pen pals for like 4 years after that. And then we had each other on Facebook and Instagram and so on and so forth.
Where was it written or just
written? Like, yeah, this is way back in the day, dude. I was a kid. Like I said, I was in second grade when we.
I always wanted to write. I want to write to Maria or something like that.
You should, man. It's a great thing. Just to when you hold something that's traveled so far just to get to you, it's kind of really sweet.
Went through this whole like experience and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. But he was a really good friend of mine, man. So when he moved out when we were kids, it sucked. And then I moved out of that town, so I was always moving a lot, so I didn't have a lot of friends in the area that I grew up in after. So we stayed in touch, and then I actually was able to link up with him in Florida, and just get some food, which was cool. And then the other experience was actually something that we were both a part of, and it was when we met Shruti. And
through Marvin and because of Marvin.
we all because of Marvin so we remember we were in New York. I love this story, by the way, because I think it's just it reminds me of when we were in Paris and when you met Maria, and it was just spontaneity in the air. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. Because from what I remember, we didn't actually do much to meet Maria.
No, I mean, you say that, but if you look at all the events that took place, imagine if we walked into one of those bars that we tried going into many times, we're like, all right, let's try this bar, whack, let's try this bar, whack. What if one of those was good?
Yeah.
And we stayed there. You would have never met Maria. It could have been that simple.
That's different from you and I taking actions to have met her, in the sense where like when we saw, because I didn't even see her.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It was so late at that point in the night, and I'm like tired, and
it was
we were drinking for the whole day, like just
going to the concert and stuff. Yep.
Yeah. Whereas, what was it? I think Shruti was in line.
They were behind us in the line to the Club Jimmy in New York.
The rooftop Jimmy.
Rooftop Jimmy, and I didn't even realize you and Marvin were chopping it up with her and her friend, just
and
chatting, because we were all line buddies. And then we go up to the club together. We chill, whatever. Nothing really comes of it. And then
we find out that Marvin always kept a connection.
Yeah, well, so Marvin kept the connection the best because he was texting Shruti, but the following morning when she met up with us for brunch, right? She's like, oh, I'm leaving to go back to Michigan, whatever. I would love to see you guys and just say bye. And she came. We only met that one night, at a club, and she came met us up where we were having brunch just to say
That's
bye.
like the coolest thing.
Yeah,
It's actually
so cool, so cool.
No, I always think about it with thoughts, right? 'Cause,
Oh man,
for those of you who don't know, someone who I hold very dear to my heart is my compiled thoughts, and I think he's just amazing vocalist, and his choosing in the production that who he links up with to produce the beats and whatnot.
his sound is so unique.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him just keep growing more and more.
Yeah, an artist straight out of Boston. He's actually been to LA sometime and has worked here and stuff and whatnot.
Yeah,
But,
isn't Cloud9 from?
it was,
Aren't they
part of
LA
it
based?
was recorded out here.
Yeah, that's cool.
But no, the way I met him, it was, if you remember my roommate Baba.
Mm-hmm.
Baba is very well connected and I mean, to my knowledge and what I'm used to, right? He was very well connected in this artistic circle and group of people that like to just do things, like take pictures, record music and stuff like that. And it was an art, not like an art house, but it was a house that, some of the friends of whoever owned the house would put up their clothing brands. Other people DJ'd.
At a house party?
Yes.
That's
and they had a set
that's dope.
too. Yeah, it was like a lineup, and I think you paid an entry fee just to support the artist. And
that's it, man.
Thoughts was just
Gorgeous.
there vibing. That's how he works.
Of course, Dots is always vibing.
For me, I saw this dude as like a superstar. I'm like, this man is out here. He's a man of the game. He's in it. He has already his tracks out there. And so in my head, part of like with relationships in general, right? Not even just you hitting up a girl and being confident there, but maybe you connecting with a possible friend.
That's right. Yeah.
We vibe out that night, yeah, because this person's feeling good and this person's feeling good, right? And the whole group is feeling good, and you're just chatting it up. But then the next day, or I don't know, whenever it was, when I think it was like on IG or something, I'm like, wow, like, I didn't know your music was that fire, that all that stuff. And I was like, yo, Zapata, like, appreciate it so much. And I'm like, hold up.
His energy was consistent.
Yeah. And I was like,
it wasn't just because he was lit the night before and he was being nice. Like, that's just him.
And I'm used to when you first meet people, I don't roll off trust like that. Like, I don't just trust whatever
Facts.
Joe Schmo I meet.
Yeah. Why do you got to keep using Joe?
So I'm going to tune over to the ad break. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already heard, my name is Christian. This is Joe.
Damn. You know what I just realized? We didn't even do an intro. Motherfucker, we didn't even do an intro.
You might have to loop it back around.
Yeah, we'll loop it. We'll loop it at the end. Don't worry.
Call our producer.
Call the producer. Call the company. Call everybody, man. I need this fixed immediately.
ASAP. But doesn't that mean we have to do something though?
Yeah, because we're the company, the producer, and we have to fix it all ASAP.
So what we are doing right now is we tend to look into our passions and we explore them. And we thought that we'd document this and take you along that ride and hopefully meet some of you to help us do so. One of the things that has enabled us to do that is starting up this YouTube channel.
That's right.
So you can actually see it in the show notes, whether you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And if you think anything of it or think anything of this episode, you can always leave a 5-star review and ask us a question. We'll start answering questions once we get enough of them.
That's facts.
In the form of a 5-star review.
Yep. So again, click down in the link in the description below. That's how you'll get to our YouTube page where you can subscribe and share that with a friend. And then if you guys have any comments, feedback, or questions, the best way to let us know is to leave that in the form of a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and we'll address it in the following episode. Thanks.
Man, I'm so thirsty just continuously talking like that. And I was thinking about these water bottles. You and I have both been using hydro flasks for quite some time now.
I know, man, but I think I'm ready for something new, but I just I got my eye on something. I just don't know if it's what I want.
What have you seen out in the market?
Well, the one that's caught my eye, right? The one that I think I'm leaning towards a lot here is called LARQ. LARQ.
LARQ.
Right? Not LARP, like the live action role playing.
Didn't even do anything.
But I like it a lot, bro. It's super simple. And what I love about it is that it has this UHV light at the top of the bottle that purifies your water and cleans the bottle itself too, which is really nice because you have a Hydro Flask, right?
Yeah. And my main problem with it is, first of all, I love the thing. I love that it has a handle. I love how you kind of just twist it off.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing. And
the little shoe at the end, like the little plastic.
Yeah. See, you use the shoe, the boot at the bottom of your Hydro Flask. I don't. I like it without because I feel like it makes it difficult to fit into every cup holder.
It does. It definitely does. But for me, my main thing is because where I spend most of my time is whether it's at a desk at work or a desk at home.
Sure.
To be able to put it down, it's like a nice soft, put down and whatnot. But it's a metal. The Hydro Flask is all what
double walled aluminum keeps your stuff really cold or really hot, whatever you decide to put in there.
Yeah,
I love it. I really do. But
the little like acumen of just slime and
that builds up inside. I'm not a fan. It's very difficult to clean. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't know. I don't know if that's. I don't know if it's for me anymore. You know. And I really appreciated having it, but I am in the market for something new, and I think something that purifies as well the water will be really great, just to give myself that extra boost of security.
You're looking for a product that can do more than just hold the water.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and I think that's why I'm leaning towards that company. But I've seen a couple of other tumblers and Flask and things like that, but I don't know. None of them really come out. Is there anything else that you were looking at, like in particular, or?
The thing is, for the long, like when I did do my research, that's what led me to Hydro Flask, and at that time,
well, they are one of like the biggest companies for, a water container.
Yeah, and by all means, like at that time, I'm like that was like for me the gold standard, and then I had a short stint at Apple.
Yep.
And they hand out Hydro Flask in Apple retail, and
that's where I got mine.
Yeah, and it's a product that I unfortunately never got to get because I was there for such a short time, and there was like an outage of like flasks for whatever reason.
Yeah, they'd have to put an order in for new employees, and it'd take like 90 days for it to come in, which I think is crazy because they got rid of the plastic cups that people could use to get a drink from the fountain.
No way. Is it because of COVID or
No, they got rid of it and in replacement got the Hydro Flask for everyone. So that way everyone would stop using plastic cups and they'd have a reusable.
Oh, but this is years back then.
Yeah. So they've been active on this.
When I was hired, I just saw the flasks.
Yeah. So because I worked for Apple a little bit before you, but yeah, they got rid of the plastic cups because they want to use a more environmentally friendly approach, which is reusable, which is fine. The only crappy part about that was when you're a new employee, they didn't have one for you. They'd have to order it. It takes 90 days for it to get there.
Did you have the because they have like plates and cups there, porcelain, I believe.
Yep.
So you at least had like that mug.
Yeah. So but
it's not your mug.
When you're drinking water out of a mug, my friend, life has hit you hard. You know what I'm saying? If you're drinking water out of a mug,
that water tastes trash.
That water just does not hit right. You know exactly what I'm talking. It just, nope.
Yeah.
Not happening with me.
But not happening with me. One of the things that, because really came to me was thirst, right? And I sometimes I can work such long hours. But one of the things that I'm interested in, that we're working on is that introduction video as well.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait. So we'll probably tackle some of that after this, and just we already have our storyboard up for that, but just getting some of the finer details, especially. But that intro video is going to be sick, and it's going to be a really cool approach to storytelling and technology. Especially in 2020.
What part of it do you find so enticing about, like, with the storytelling aspect, how you kind of visually chose what you did?
I think it's more relevant to how people are consuming content in 2020, right? Being locked down, being in Corona, and you have to keep that social distance. I think this is the honest way that people will be telling stories for a while. So this is the way that I want to portray it.
Yeah. For me, one of the closing comments that I want to go over is the other show that, once again, I'm not going to know what this was, but where the old dude with the suit, and he's telling the story of like Odyssey, and the
Myth and Monsters on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just one of the main points that he made was back then, like stories were a combination of people's verbal communication, right? Yep. And Cinderella was a completely different scenario in China than it was in, say, Germany or something like that.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even comparing it to Germany to America, right? Something even a little closer. It's two different stories.
But mainly I reference it, right, because this is the time before even America was a thing. But just now it's like the story comes out from the source, and it comes out in a documented format. There's no twisting it up and saying this or that.
To our knowledge, yeah. Because I you know me, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I believe that I saw aliens in my field, sir.
Do you think that what YouTuber did we watch in common?
We watch Justin Say together.
Do you think that Justin Say didn't review the iPhone 12?
I don't think it was him.
You think it was someone else?
I think it was someone else pretending to be him. They took over his body, and they are taking over the country. They're taking our jobs.
Well, they're doing a great job.
They are. The video quality on Justin Say's freaking page is so fantastic. Oh my God, yeah. No, but we working on that intro video, which is going to be really great, and I'm really excited to release that as our first really curated project. You know what I mean?
Aside from the magazine.
Aside from the magazine, in a video format, yeah. In video format. Our first curated piece of video format to our audience. And one thing else that I do want to add on top of that is that, guys, we have been receiving your feedback, and we've been hearing your comments and concerns. And we are going to be coming out with a product for you guys that you guys would be able to use daily and show off while you travel and really appreciate it. And we've been working hard on that in the background. That should take place probably Q1, Q2 of 2021. So until then, stay focused on that, and keep consuming our content and letting us know how you like it, how we are doing, and if there's anything else that you guys would want us to talk about, right?
I think there's one thing they want to ask.
What?
Well, how in the world are we qualified to come out and tell our story? And let me tell you, my friend, I've been avid on YouTube almost since the inception, you know? I know how these things kind of play out, you know?
Facts.
I've had a camera. I haven't recorded with the camera. I've had the camera.
But I've had it.
I've owned it.
That's right.
So, that's my qualification. What about you, Joe? What makes you think you're qualified?
To tell stories? Well, my friend, that is my favorite way to learn, is through storytelling. You know me. I would rather, if I know someone that knows how to do something, instead of fumbling through Google to find it, what do?
You go straight to the person.
I go straight to the person, and I ask them, hey, man, how do I make this happen? What do we have to do? And then they tell me a story, and I learn from that story. And boom, that's the way I love to learn, and that's the way I love to express myself and some of the life experiences that we've gone through. And, you know, this is just something that we do, man. I mean, we love this right here. Genuinely.
Conversating and
sitting down, having a great drink with great company, and hopefully in the next few months we can invite people into our space virtually, physically. We'll see how things pan out. But
until then, can't wait to see you in the next podcast.
Cheers.
Peace.